patterns of evolution, or what does evolution really look like over time? What do we see physically? Macroevolution. Macro is the opposite of micro. So micro means small, like microscope. Macro means big. So macroevolution are big changes that we can see over long periods of time. There is also microevolution, which is about genetics and how they change over time. But these notes are looking at macro, the big picture. First thing that we can definitely tell is extinction. Because we have things like dinosaur bones that we know were there at one point, and now they're not, so they must have gone extinct. We also have some animals that have gone extinct because of human activities, and we know they've gone extinct because now there aren't anymore. If you look at the whole history of all of Earth, more than 99% of all species that have ever existed are now extinct. Which is sad, yeah, but also you gotta fight to survive, and those that can't make it are gonna die and go extinct. Now, sometimes there is an event that causes a bunch of things to go extinct all at once, like what happened with the dinosaurs. There was an asteroid that hit, caused all kinds of global climate change really fast, killed lots of plants, killed lots of animals. That is called a mass extinction, where a bunch of things go extinct all at one time. I don't think this is on your notes paper, but just in case you wanted to know. An endangered species is something that's close to being extinct. A threatened species means they're close to being endangered. So you either are doing okay, threatened, endangered, extinct. There are some animals that were close to extinction because of things that humans were doing, like eagles and other large birds. Their eggs were being destroyed because of a certain pesticide called DDT, which you can Google if you'd like. But once we stopped using that, then the birds started coming back because now their eggs can survive. So sometimes it's humans causing this issue. Sometimes it's another environmental thing. But either way, that's what those different things mean. So we had extinction where they all die. What if we have a new species, the opposite of that? That is speciation, where we create a new thing. Here's something important to remember. You cannot change. Whatever genetics you get from your parents is what you are born with. You can't change that. If your genetics are good for the environment, great, you get to survive. If your genetics are not so great, maybe you die. Sorry. So when we talk about speciation, we're talking about a change in a whole group, a population over time. A population can evolve, yeah. Individuals cannot evolve. You can't choose what you get. But as a whole group, some might be able to survive while others don't. Different things we see in evolution. Excuse me. Divergent evolution. Or if you want to get extra fancy, adaptive radiation is also this. I think divergent's an easier word. We swear we have one species that changed into many. For example, mammals. You had an ancestral mammal, which was the first group of things that had fur and fed their babies with milk and did live birth and things like that. That one group changed into all the different mammals we see today. So now we have mammals that walk, we have mammals that can run, we have mammals that can fly and that can swim. That one group changed into many. It's divergent. Convergent is the other way around. They're not really related. They just kind of look like they are because they live in the same environment. For example, dolphins and sharks. A dolphin is a mammal. A shark is a fish. Two different kinds of animals, but they look similar because they live in the same environment. That happens to be like the best shape to live in an ocean, but they're two different kinds of animals. The word of the day is actually going to be a sentence. You ready for this? Dolphins are mammals. Coevolution is when two organisms evolve together. For example, flowers and what pollinates them. So if you watch a bee in the summertime, go watch some bees. They're not very graceful. They kind of just like fly on top of a flower and jump all over it, and then move to the next one and jump all over that. As they're doing that, they are getting food from that flower in the nectar. They go back and use it to make the honey, you know. But the flower is also getting something out of it, because every time that bee jumps on a flower, it's getting some pollen on it. So as the bee jumps around from flower to flower to flower to flower to flower, it is moving all of that pollen along with it. So the bee gets food, the flower gets help reproducing. You can also look at the shape of the pollinator and the shape of the flower. They go together. So something like a bee that just kind of floops on top of flowers, it has a big wide flower. Something like a hummingbird has long narrow flowers because they have that long skinny beak. There's even a type of flower that attracts flies because it smells like rotting meat. It's called the corpse flower. It's a really huge, pretty looking flower. It doesn't smell very good though. So coevolution, they evolve together. The flower evolved to fit its pollinator. The pollinator evolved to fit with the flower. So what you should know about each of these, last three at least, is an example. Like, what is coevolution? Give me an example. What is divergent evolution? Give me an example. What's convergent? Give me an example. And you should kind of know the difference between speciation and extinction. Got it? Great. We have, I think, one more notes to do in this unit, and then we'll be done. So, see you then.